I'm going to freak these guys out because I usually go 3, 2, 1 in the countdown and we're live. All right, we're live. All right, what's going on? I got Goldmund Unleashed on tonight. Goldmund's a cool dude. He's been on the 21 convention for, what's it been, like 2 years now or more than that?
Yeah, that was my second talk there.
Second time, yeah. You know, known widely in the manosphere as the Indiana Jones of the red pill. I don't even know where to start with you, man. You're probably one of the most interesting guys, you know, in the space when it comes to your approaches to just living your life. Some might describe you as a MGTOW, some might describe you as an artist, others might say you're an author. I think you're a guy that gives a lot less fucks in certain areas of life and a lot more than some of us.
Yeah, I call me whatever you want. It's like there's nothing that I haven't heard, and I don't really care for labels anyway.
Yeah, you know, kind of a legend is, you know, is a way that I'd like to put it, because I mean, you kind of do what you want. I mean, you were working and kind of edging into this space. Was it? I think you said to me down there that it was The Way of Men, and or some of Jack Donovan's work tied in at the same time with Rollo Tomasi, and you kind of went down to visit them both, and you did like an interview with them. I saw both the interviews, by the way, on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I did a big tour around the country in 2015, and I met a lot of the guys who were writing. I just wanted to meet them because it was really changing my life. And it takes a lot to change the way I think because I'm incredibly stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came across red pill manosphere stuff, I was just like blown away because I was actually, you know, learning new ways of thinking. So I went out and I went to go meet these guys. Yeah, and I hung out with Jack Donovan for a bit. We did the interview, met Rollo for the first time. Oh, by the way, I was the first person ever to get Rollo's face on camera, so I'm pretty proud of that.
Nice. Yeah, you cracked him. Yeah, good. And that was kind of like your introduction to what you've become now and kind of where you're going.
Yeah, well, I had been writing for about a year and a half prior,
Mm-hmm.
Anonymously, and then after that, I was like, okay, this is the real deal. These aren't just like nerds behind a screen. These are guys going out there doing that. It was a different scene. Back like 3 or 4 years ago when most guys were really anonymous.
How was it different?
Because we weren't putting our faces out there. We weren't like hitting the ground. So it was mostly words behind a screen. So I actually took that trip to go make sure this was real.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it was real and I was like, wow. And now it's just blown up, like, especially with the 21 convention.
Yeah, I think it's great because a lot of the guys that have spoken and, you know, revealed themselves and put themselves out there, like really risk themselves. I mean, they're starting to do some bigger things now. Like we saw the video that Ryan Stone put out today on his channel. Guys, go to Ryan Stone on YouTube. I'll try to get the link and share it somewhere on social. I think he just put it out. He was supposed to tell me beforehand, but he didn't do that, of course, because it's fucking Ryan. But great little video that he did where he was baking and talking about dread. But back to you though, dude. So you've written some books.
Yeah.
Talk about the stuff you put out on Amazon, and then spend some time on what happened with Camera Game.
Oh man, well that's the book. It's funny because it was an idea of mine that, you know, I knew it was a good idea, so I decided to put it out there. The book is this one, Introduction to Camera Game: How to Seduce Women Through Photography. I made the cover pretty salacious, and it's called How to Seduce Women Through Photography, and like it's a cheesy cover, and I made it specifically to piss people off. Like I wanted, yeah, oh, it worked. So
Big
it was
time too, right?
exactly a year ago. I mean, the biggest photography website, one of the biggest in the world, Petapixel, wrote a hit piece on the book. Like, this guy is out here. He's the new Terry Richardson. Why is this book allowed to be published in the Me Too era? And nobody had read it. They just looked at the cover and assumed I was like, you know, inviting girls for model shoots and seducing them like in the studio as a sleazeball photographer, which isn't the case at all. The book is about, I'm a street photographer. So I was going out. It was about 5 years ago. I had the idea to go out and take portraits of women in the street and then kind of ask them a question, have them write it down on a piece of paper, show it. It's usually had to do about like sex and dating in New York City because that's where I'm based out of.
Mm-hmm.
And write their answer down. And then we'd flirt. And if I liked them, you know, invite them on a date right then and there. It worked a bunch of times. I got tons of dates, got laid a ton. And it was just a great idea. And it's just gotten better and better with like with Instagram's popularity rising and rising, every single girl wants a nice photo of themselves. So it's just got easier and easier. I still use it. I'm still meeting tons of girls. I met
And
a chick today
is
through camera
there
games.
is there a special kind of camera that you need? Like, do you need Wi-Fi access so you can share the photography to her Instagram? Do you just get her number? Like, how does that normally work for you?
Now, you could use any camera. I always suggest using anything besides your phone. I mean, I've got a Canon Rebel DSLR that I love. The thing is $400, and I've had the same model for the past 5 years. Completely changed my life. As long as you have something that looks professional, and then you just get her information. I usually get their Instagram, and if I really like them, I'll get their number. And if we don't go out on a date right then and there, I'll just invite her out later. But it
Right.
is, I mean, this is my hack or my cheat code to game in general, because it works so goddamn well.
I want to go back to Jack Donovan's book because he's not explicitly talking about the sexual marketplace, red pill, and stuff like that. He kind of talks about masculinity. So how did that open up doors for you? Like, how did that open your eyes?
That was one of the books that I like to say it gave me permission to be a man, because I mean, especially growing up in my adult years in New York City, where it's very, it's the hive mind where like men aren't supposed to act like men. So I'd succumbed to that in my 20s, and I was very suppressed with my masculinity. So when I read Jack's book, it was like, no, this is how you become a more complete person, a more complete man. And his recent book, A More Complete Beast, really spoke to me. So it gave me that permission to like go with that aggressive side of my personality and say, it's okay. Like, don't listen to what society is telling you. Stop being suppressed. Express yourself as a man. And I really felt like a more complete human being after I started doing it.
Your talk at the 21 convention was different this year. What did you cover?
Yeah, I covered, the title was Creativity, Art, Masculinity, and You. Because, I mean, like, as an artist, it's strange being a masculine artist who's expressing himself, because the art community, and I mentioned this in my talk, has just been completely taken over by women and homosexuals, basically, especially in places like New York. The whole art scene is dominated by women and homosexuals, and there's no real place for men with testosterone who are aggressive. So it's like, which is a huge percent of the population, a very important, I mean, we built the world, and we're being pushed out of an entire scene. And it's just like, so I had a lot of anger there because I grew up in New York. I live in Brooklyn, and like, I'm in the middle of it. And what I've seen in the manosphere, the whole self-improvement community, is like, it's great because people are becoming better, but it's like everybody's following lists of what to do. It's like, you have a regiment for, eating well, working out, what to say to girls, how to run game, but there's a lack of creativity. And so I was really speaking to the men in the audience who are like the natural artists, naturally creative, and I just want to wake them up. And so that's what the whole speech was about. And I reached a bunch of guys too, because I had a lot of good feedback from that.
How do you tap into your creative side, like your artistic side, as a man that's still masculine and high testosterone, not gay?
Well, I always, solitude is pretty important, because I mean, as an artist, you have to figure out your own personal vision in life. And the only way to do that is through solitude and meditation. So, I mean, that's the most important thing. And then, of course, you have to have the base knowledge, like read Rollo's book, of course, The Rational Male. I mean, understand. I say for young men, especially, you have to understand women, and you have to like get control of your sex drive and have the sex you want. Because as a young man, especially with high testosterone, if you're not getting the sex you want, it's just going to create a fog in your brain. So that's important. Get the sex out of the way, and then develop your vision. Develop your vision as a man. I mean, that's my number one philosophy for this past year. I've been developing my vision like hardcore.
How have you been doing that?
Well, I spent the whole month of June, I spent in the swamp.
Yeah. I saw the pictures you put on Instagram with just bugs and like random stories of people that you'd encounter. What did you
Yeah.
What did you get out of spending all that time in a hot ass swamp in Florida?
Oh man, I mean, sweating every day and just like being out there alone. It was like, and I'm actually in the process of writing an entire book about it. I met a rabbi in the swamp. He explained what he picked up right away, that I was some kind of mystic, which I had never really thought about before. And so when he said that I was like had the mystic personality, and then he told me to go to the south of the Everglades. I went all the way to the south. I had this crazy revelation. So I mean, that's what I picked up. It further refined my vision, and plus being around the animals and just in the swamp alone, sweating my balls off, it was a life-changing experience.
Do you go about most of the stuff on your own? Like you're mostly introverted?
Oh yeah, 100% introvert.
Because
Like
I mean, a
all
lot
my
of guys,
extra.
sorry, man. I was just gonna say because a lot of guys will be like, you got to have a wingman, you got to do this, and you got to approach things from this way, and it's very structured. And I get the feeling that you just kind of like grab a camera, throw in your shoulder bag, and just put on a hat and go.
Yeah, I mean, I've always approached everything pretty much alone, like being an introvert. And when I was learning game, it was mostly alone and just throwing myself out there. And I had a big fear of I had some social anxiety I had to get over, and the best way to do it was just jump in alone and overcome the fears. Like I love confronting psychological fears. It's always been a big part of my life. It's
How do you
like
do that?
you find the things that you are afraid of doing the most. Like for me, I had some pretty bad social anxiety. Like for me, approaching a strange group of girls, like out at a restaurant or a bar, was like absolutely terrifying in my early 20s.
Hmm.
Terrifying. And I'll never forget the first time I did it. It was a group of like four girls, and I went up to, it was some canned opener, like oh, I have a friend who's dating a new girl and he wonders if he could still be talking to his ex. What do you guys think about this?
Isn't
My
that
heart was
Yeah, that's out of like Neil Strauss's book somewhere,
Yep, it
isn't
was
it?
an old pickup,
Yeah,
but whatever, you gotta wear your training wheels when
yeah.
you do it in the beginning. But like I've said this before, like doing that approach and like getting the feedback, even though it was like 3 minutes, I had more satisfaction from doing that than like when I got my master's degree in college. Like it was, yeah. So psychological fears like that, I'm my own worst enemy, and I gotta confront my fears.
Cool. Taking me back to when you were about 10, 11, 12 years old. What did you want to be when you were growing up?
Ooh, I I wanted to be a naturalist.
What's a naturalist?
It's
What does that
just a
entail?
person who just knows everything about the forest and the woods. And I wanted to take people out in the woods and tell them like what kind of tree that was, like just by looking at the tree bark, what kind of birds they were, finding animal tracks. That's what that's what I wanted to do at that age.
Nice.
Yeah.
What would you consider a defining moment in your life?
Oh, I mean, ayahuasca.
Oh yeah, let's talk about ayahuasca. Go. What was that like?
Ayahuasca was the number one path changer that I had. So I did that. I was 31 years old. My first ceremony. I went down to Peru. I'd always been curious because I've always been interested in psychedelics and plant medicines. So I read about ayahuasca, arranged to go down with a shaman in Peru. And during my first ceremony there, I mean, I went through a lot of different visions. For you guys who don't know, ayahuasca is basically a tea that's made from a vine called ayahuasca and a leaf called chacruna. And ayahuasca opens up your mind or your brain to DMT, which is a chemical, naturally produced chemical. Every living thing produces it. Chacruna is the highest concentration of DMT. So you drink the ayahuasca, your mind's open, you can absorb the DMT, and it just takes you on a wild journey inside yourself. So you're going to confront your biggest fears. You're going to face your demons. And during one particularly intense vision in that ceremony, I met some, you enter spirit worlds, whatever you want to call it. I was in another world, confronted these beings who laid me out on an altar, and they literally took a scythe and split my entire chest open. So my chest was split open, and everything that was inside me that was bottled up came spilling out and became part of the universe. Then they made me promise that I need to share that stuff that was inside with other people. So as soon as I got back from that trip, I started writing. So,
Hmm.
and then, I mean, the blog, I wasn't expecting that to do anything. I just knew I had to write, and it just became the biggest part of my life. And that's who I am now.
I don't know if you were around last year when I did my talk in Orlando at the other convention center, but that was kind of like the opening to my talk was let your wounds become your work. And it's like that opening of yourself became your work, eh?
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. Was it a pleasant experience or was it painful? Like was it entertaining? Was it like how would you
it,
describe it?
it was mostly terrifying because I confronted a lot of demons that I didn't know that were repressed inside me, and you confront that. I mean, they're real. So once you confront these things that have been holding you back, like since childhood, and you see them like visually in front of your face, the only reaction you really have is to, they call it purging. So
Mhm.
as soon as you see this stuff that's been holding you back for years and years, you just start throwing up violently. But you're also under the influence of ayahuasca, so your puke becomes, it's like, it's just, you see it, you visualize it as all your problems coming spilling out and you're getting rid of them. So there was a lot of that, but it was also beautiful in a lot of ways. So I mean,
Interesting.
it's a mixture of everything, man. You run the whole gamut of whatever you have inside you.
How old are you now?
36.
And if you could do it all over again, what would you do differently?
I mean, life.
You decide what that
If
means
I
to
could
you.
do it differently, I would have stopped listening to my parents and my teachers and the church at a much younger age, because I think I held on to them too long because I love my family. And but I mean, there comes a point where in a man's life where you just have to say fuck it and go on your own. And I waited too long to do that. So I should have done that a lot earlier.
Um, if there's three things that you needed to rely on that created happiness in your life, kind of the post red, like red pills stuff, what would those three things be?
Number one would be independent thought. Like no matter what, I think your thoughts inside is like your most precious commodity. So
Mhm.
no matter what, even if somebody puts you in prison, you still have that that gift of independent thought. So that's number one. Number two, I don't know. I think that's the only thing I really care about. Number two, yeah, it comes down to freedom. Like, thank God I don't have a normal job anymore, and I'm able to go out and think and do what I want. So freedom is number two, and then number three would be again developing your creativity and developing your vision. Those are my keys to happiness. That's what fulfills me and makes me feel like a living being soul who's giving back to the world.
What was your regular job before you became Goldman?
I was a teacher,
No kidding.
so yeah, I taught for God, what was it, 7 years?
What did you
Yeah,
teach?
actually, I taught geology and astronomy were the main two subjects, and then I also taught art history and art appreciation as like elective classes. But I actually got fired from teaching because of what I'm doing. Some feminists found out that I spoke at the 21 convention last year, and then they reported to administration, said I was a misogynist. They saw my books. Of course, when they see the books, I have a book called Art of the One Night Stand where I talk about like, banging girls and doing drugs and going crazy. They found my blog where I talk about all that stuff. And so I wasn't surprised that I got fired, but the
Mhm.
fact that they ratted on me, I was like, you know what? I don't really need this job anyway, and I'm gonna jump, dive full into the writing life.
Hmm. Um, you've you've famously said, I think a few times, publicly anyway, that you won't take a wife, that the world is your wife's, sort of thing. Can you kind of explain what that means?
Yeah, so right now I get people asking me all the time if I want to settle down, have a family, have a wife and kids, and like my answer is just no. I'm having two, my life is fulfilled right now, just exploring the world and trying to find new things and then sharing them with other people. And that gives me ultimate fulfillment. I say my books, my photographs, anything I produce, those are like my children. I'm happy to produce. And I've seen too much, man. I've dated thousands of girls. I've slept with hundreds of them. It's like to find a woman who will accept me for who I am and is quality is like so hard to grasp. I have no desire to do it, and I'm just totally happy on my own.
What's the struggle that you find with women when they want to, I don't know, how can I put this? When they try to impose those restrictions or beliefs on you?
Oh,
Like,
then
how does that conversation usually go for you?
I mean, I usually the way if I don't know her well enough, so say this is just a few weeks in that we've been dating, and then I see that she's going to try and change me, or she doesn't like the way I think in some areas. Like I'll accept girls who don't like the way I think, but they're okay with it. It's the ones who are like try and challenge me and don't let me think the way I think. I don't like that. I forgot the question.
when these girls put up this challenge, or they want to change your beliefs to reside within their frame, so to speak, how does that conversation usually go? Like, how does it unwind for you?
You know, I usually just shut down and then ghost them. Like I said, yeah. I mean, usually I figure it out in the first few weeks, and then I have no problem ghosting them. It doesn't really happen because I can screen them pretty well after a few months. If we're seeing each other, like a few months is a long time for me if I'm seeing a chick and dating her, and then if I'm seeing her for that long, I already know that she's okay with it. But yeah, in the first few weeks, I have no problem ghosting them, and I've done that many, 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 many times.
If there's one thing that you could change about yourself, what would it be?
I'm pretty undisciplined, so that's something I always have to like. If I have to, like this book I'm supposed to be putting out, I've been working on it for 3 months, but I'm always traveling and stuff like that. But I know I could do it. So if I could work on my discipline, that's if I could like snap my fingers and say this is the one thing I need to do, it would definitely be discipline.
Is it discipline or is it focus?
No, it's discipline because I can focus pretty goddamn well when I sit down and focus. And I'm pretty focused all the time. Even when I'm out walking around alone, I'm focused. But the discipline just to, get routines and positive habits, it's not easy for me at all.
Cool. I'm going to share some links in my guys community just so they can kind of join in on the conversation and ask you a couple questions, because we're going to be on for about another 40 odd minutes or so. Thanks. So if you guys do click the link and join, just mute yourself when you come in. Got to go to another page here on the channel. While I'm doing that, Goldmund, can you just let people know where they can find you and what your premium content's all about?
Yeah, so my main website is goldmundunleashed.com. On there, I have a lot of public articles. Most of them are public. There's hundreds of them. But there's premium content on that website where I have like my best photographs, my best stories, my best advice. I just started a podcast on my own. So people could sign up for that premium content at goldmundunleashed.com. I'm pretty active on Twitter. I love the Twitter platform. I think it's brilliant and easy to use. So I'm at Twitter at Goldmund Unleash, Instagram at Goldmund Unleashed, and then also my rare YouTube channel is also Goldmund Unleashed. So just Google Goldmund Unleashed and click around. You'll find lots of stuff.
Yeah, check out some of the interviews that he does on his channel, because he just does these random talks every once in a while when he switches from photography over to video, and he captures some pretty interesting talks. I've watched a few of them, so I've enjoyed those for sure. So the way this works, guys, with the Q&A stuff, and I'll take some questions here in the chat too for him, but I put my community members at the front of the line. So some of you have said, well, I'm a woman, how do I ask questions or participate? There's a join button on the YouTube channel, and if you click that, I think it's like $4 and change per month. What I do is I post the join link in the community tab. So if you're watching right now and you're a member, all you do is go to the community tab, you click that, and there's a join link. You can pop in. You'll need the Hangout app on your phone, or you just launch it from a Chrome browser. If anybody has a question for Goldmund, because I wanted to throw some of this stuff at him as well, just put it in the chat, but put it in like caps or something like that, so it pops. It's easy to find. Got some people saying that they're going to join right now. Well, thanks. And by the way, guys, like this really helps, create content on the channel. This is actually my second live broadcast today. Before I start doing that over here, My broadcast earlier today was with a MGTOW guy, DDJ, Miss Andrew today. He was on the Red Man group a couple weeks ago. And one thing I've noticed about these MGTOWs, I'm going to spell out the acronym because I have a feeling it might be problematic with algorithms. So one thing I've noticed is they're very precautious when it comes to interaction with women. And we talk, and we've talked privately, we've talked publicly at the convention and other places as well about the risks that men face with toxic feminism, with this hashtag Me Too stuff. We've seen people in the financial community, for example. There was an article that was placed out, I think it was in Bloomberg, where they were talking about not allowing yourself to be in a room with a woman, taking flights with a woman, so you can avoid any potential Me Too lashings. You're in New York City, like you're kind of in like the hub of this whole, toxic feminism area of North America. What's your take on that? Like, how have things been changing, or are they changing?
I mean, it's changing, but it's only with girls that I don't really want to interact with. I mean, feminists are just they're usually ugly and unattractive anyway.
Generally
I
speaking,
mean,
yeah.
yeah. So, like, for example, I was out at a bar about a week and a half ago. I remember it was in the backyard at a bar. I was with a friend of mine from Europe, and we just started chatting with a girl who wasn't attractive, but she was outside, and we just like started up a conversation. And within 2 minutes, she just starts talking shit about Trump and how he hates women and like going crazy. And me and him are looking at each other like, I can't believe this. And so, I mean, it's out there, but it's with the feminist women who, you don't really want to have anything to do with them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But with the attractive women that I like to date, it's fun to bring up. I call it the elephant in the room. And it's kind of a part of my game where I'll talk about the Me Too movement and I'll make fun of it. Like, oh, am I going to need to consent to kiss you and stuff like that, and kind of make it a joke. Because if you're a guy with his shit together and she's attracted to you, like, it's not really going to be a problem. And like I said, I'm out of the 9 to 5 world, but it was getting, it's pretty goddamn risky. I mean, from what I've heard in the past year, especially. But in the nightlife, if you want to go out and meet attractive women, it's not like the internet. So it's not too overblown. Just avoid the feminists.
What's your view on the MGTOW movement? Like, do you have limitations on your engagement on the sexual marketplace, or is it just you've just decided that the world's your wife and you're not going to get into an LTR live-in type of relationship with women right now?
I never gave much thought to the MGTW. I never gave much thought to it because I need women in my life. There's absolutely, I need feminine energy. Like, I'm very aggressive. Like I have all this masculine energy all the time. I need that feminine energy. I need sex, like all that. I have no problem dating a girl if she's worthy enough. Like, I love having, called an LTR. They usually only last for a few months because I travel so much. But I like dating worthy girls. Like, I have no problem doing that. So it's like, but I mean, with my lifestyle, especially in this past year, when I'm traveling like every month for weeks on end, it's like, yeah, I'm maybe just a one night stand guy, which is fine for me. Sex every few weeks.
The guy over here that put a question here. Do you have any tips for beginning photographers?
Oh, just go out and shoot. Just practice, practice, practice. Once, I would say, find what your subject is. For me in the beginning, I loved, before, like, when I was getting used to it, I loved shooting like birds was my favorite subject, and it just got me so used to the camera because birds are moving all the time, so you have to find them and learn how to focus and get them like with the frame really well. I mean, you just have to go out and use it like any like a musical instrument. You got to practice, practice, practice. And then after a while, you'll find that decisive moment that you want, and the camera will just become an extension of your body. And then you'll just pull it out and just start shooting as soon as you feel that inspiration. But to get to that point, you got to take, a few thousand photographs, which is no problem with the digital cameras. Like, it's not like you're using film and you're spending money. That's why I love photography. Like I said, I spent $400 on that camera 5 years ago, and that's it. And now it's a big part of my life.
Somebody stated something here in the comments. They said we should delete the word relationship from our vocabulary. What's your thought on that?
Relationship from our vocabulary. Uh no, because I like getting involved in relationships with women. Like there's a bunch of women even in this past year where I look back and she changed me for the better, whether she inspired me to become a better person or just we had such a good time together. I just look back with fond memories. I'd call that a relationship. And like even relationship with men who are my friends, like that's when they inspire you to be a better person and see the world in a better way. That's a relationship. I
How did
think
that change you? How did that
what change?
how did that one woman change you?
Oh, there's a few women that changed me, but there was one major one. She made me real. I mean, she was the girl that I dated for about 2 years was like, she was my, like, first of all, physical beauty. She was my ideal. And I mean, she was a model from Paris, everything ideal, like super classy. She gave me a lot of self-confidence because she was in love with me and I knew I had that within me. It was the first time I had the most ideal woman I could ever want. And like she would have killed for me. So that gave me a ton of self-confidence.
I'm
So
gonna
that
just
was, yeah, that was good.
I'm just gonna pop the join link here in the public chat because I don't know why some people are having a hard time joining it. If you click the link that I just shared, the Hangouts link, there's 8 slots in here that are available. You can launch it from a Hangout app on your mobile device or from a Chrome browser, and you'll be able to join. You can ask Goldmund the question that way. It'd be super easy. So some of you that have popped some of these questions in here, like we've got some, people are saying like, what's your advice for approach anxiety? I mean, you talked about that kind of a little bit. What about introversion? I mean, that's kind of stuff that we've already kind of, like dove into. Like you just kind of deal with those things, right? I want to get into some higher level stuff. Like Goldman's a guy that's got a lot of know-how behind him. He's only going to be on for a little bit longer. I mean, he coaches guys on this sort of stuff right now. So you've got a really, really good opportunity right now to present some useful topics to him. There's a guy here that says meeting girls doing activities you like, good or bad idea. That's obviously a good idea. Like, why would you want to meet somebody doing something you hate, right?
Yeah, I mean, activities that you like, that's totally ideal because then you could you'll have something in common. You'll have more fun with her.
All right. Well, looks like we got a motorcyclist that just joined us. Ducati, if you want to unmute yourself, you can present your question. Go ahead. Nope, I guess not. Guys, if you're going to join in, make sure you have a microphone. It's not to watch, it's to join and ask questions, okay, on the chat. It's on a Hangout. Let me just scroll back up here, see if there's any other questions I might have missed for these guys. Here, man, I got one for you. What would you want to have engraved on your tombstone?
The world was my wife.
I would, hey, dude, I would take care of that for you if you left it with me.
Oh, yeah.
What's the most exciting thing you've ever done?
Oh God. Well, the most exciting thing, I mean, I have an absolute love for surfing. So I've surfed some pretty good waves that were pretty. Surfing, I think, is a great sport for any man to get into because you're with Mother Nature herself, which is the ocean, and you're just embracing her energy. Like waves are just pure energy. So like I've been on a few waves before where I've just felt like king of the world, and it feels like flying, and it's just butter smooth and beautiful. So I think surfing is probably the most exciting, like pure excitement. Like I always rank surfing, like there's sex, like great sex, and then surfing. Those are my 2 favorite things in the world.
Yeah, I like speed. I gotta admit that's right at the top for me too.
Yeah.
Guy here said, Goldman, tell us this. What's the greatest asset a guy should have when working on their game?
The greatest asset you can have is I mean, this is going to depend on the individual. Like, I always bring it back to myself because the guys that I coach usually and myself, they're usually introverts who have a very large inner universe in them. So to know how to tap into that and be creative and in the moment is pretty important for guys like us. It's when you're in that complete flow state and you're tapping in and whatever's coming out of your mouth is completely congruent of what's going on inside. As an introvert, that's number one.
Somebody said, will you evolve your game in your 40s? I mean, do you even lean that far into the future, or do you kind of like live in the moment more?
I do live in the moment, but of course I think about it. It takes a lot for me to think about, but I'm sure my game is going to evolve in the 40s. Like I'm going to rely more on interesting character game. I'm going to be dressed really well in my 40s and be dignified and have all this stuff under my belt. And, I'm a best-selling author, so I can rely on that. So, I mean, it'll be calmed down more. I feel myself calming down. Like I'm way calmer than I was 3 years ago when I was like more into the nightlife, whereas more like now I like day game.
In your experience, do you think that looks are a big deal?
Yes. I mean, yeah. I ain't gonna beat around the bush there. You, as a man, you should do whatever you can to make yourself as attractive as possible. Because in this day and age, like these girls are just they're even more superficial than us when it comes to like, oh, that's a guy I want to fuck. It's like
Oh,
you gotta,
100%.
yeah, they are just incredibly superficial and just shameless about it.
Somebody was asking about meditation. Do you follow a specific type of meditation?
I grew up with I grew up in a religion that meditation was a big part of, but I like active meditation, so a lot of hiking and just like freeing my mind of any thoughts. But I'm usually moving. It's not like sitting here in my room, with my eyes closed and trying to push everything out. I usually need to be moving because I'm a very active person. Hiking is the best way to do it. When I'm climbing a mountain, that's when my mind is the clearest it's ever been.
Yeah. I got a question here. It says, to me, I think, but he says, what do you think of neo harems? Thanks to Instagram, social media, Tinder, etc., women can now secretly bang chads even when they're married. Not sure what the question is in that. It's like, okay, yeah, it happens. I don't know. Bizarre question or statement. Maybe you can clarify on that. I'm not sure what you mean there. Q&A. Okay, here we go. Some guy's got a question. I'm 34, single father with a good job. In the past year, I've been interested in dating. Is this normal at my age? Because I asked because in my 20s, I was the opposite. In the past year, I haven't been interested in dating, he said. Is this normal? I don't know. I mean, if you're not interested in women, I'd be asking why. I mean, if you're 34 and you're healthy and you got good testosterone levels, you should be interested in women unless you like dudes. I don't know, man. You got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, get your testosterone levels checked. It's like in your 30s, like you should be wanting to have sex a lot. Like,
Yeah, still for sure.
yeah, I mean, that's what dating's all about. I mean, it's totally healthy and natural.
Yeah. Let me scroll down here. I got a lot of stuff. Okay, here's one. Should we use the energy BS to get women since it works, but you're technically lying because it's woo-ha, live, love, pray BS, but it's effective.
Man, I love using the energy line because I don't think it's total BS because I definitely feel vibes of certain people that I
What is
get
the
along
energy
with.
line? What is the energy line? Just so I understand.
Oh, I just tell a girl I love your vibes. You've got great energy.
Okay.
And I don't think it's BS because if a girl is radiating like this good energy, like it's just some girls have it, some girls don't. And I have
Yeah,
no
like you can tell. Like if a
clue.
chick's got good vibes, like you can tell. So energy, yeah, sure, okay, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and I'm that kind of person where I can get away with that shit. Because I'm like I got a little hippie side to me, which I'm not ashamed about at all.
Yeah, you got a woosah side too. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Um, Guy here says, I'm 37, live in New York. Fortunately, the majority of girls in my area are in their mid 20s. New York. Oh, hang on, the last part got cut off. You removed it or something. Anyway, let's see if we got any other questions here. Guys, put your questions in the comments clearly if you want them presented to Goldmund. Sorry, I'm just scrolling up here. Can you see the chat too, Goldmund? I'm not sure if you got it popped out on your screen.
Yeah, I got it in another window. Let me check it too.
We talked about meditation and what experience. We talked about looks. Oh, here we go. There's a he kind of expanded on it. So neo harem social media makes it easier for women to cheat. They're seeing the formation of harems make a comeback, causing imbalance in the dating market. Have you heard of this before? Neo harems?
I A new type of harem. I don't know what that even means. Is that like a harem for girls who
I
like
don't know. Let me
date
just
dudes
copy and
online?
paste it in and see if it comes up in our Urban Dictionary or something like that. We'll get a clearer definition here. Neo harems. Doesn't show up on Google, so it's not on the radar screen, whatever that means. I think it's just made up tonight. So he says for new social media makes it easy for women to cheat. We're seeing the formation of harems make a comeback, causing imbalance. And I don't know why guys put so much effort and thought or energy into like, oh, there's an imbalance or it's not fair, and social media makes things hard. It's just you get a you get a hand of cards dealt to you, you play with them, right? You get a good hand of cards, you play with them. You get a shitty hand of cards, you get lemons, you make lemon meringue pie. I like lemon meringue pie. I just always find a way to get back up and float back to the top, right? I don't know, like what's your thought on that when people say that, like it almost seems like it's self-imposed restrictions. Like I could sit here and go, oh, I'm bald. I would, I just have no opportunity or I would suck or whatever, right? Uh, I mean, like what are your thoughts on that?
Oh man, I like I said before, man, I love challenges. I love challenging myself psychologically. Like with when I saw online dating come in, like this ruins the New York life nightlife. It like in like the late 2000s when I was first learning game, like it was a paradise here in New York because there was no Tinder or what other apps they use. Then like 2012 came along and like when you went out, especially now, it is so rare to just find a girl out alone at a bar because she's usually got, a Tinder date or she's meeting up with friends because of social media and all this stuff. So that just presents a new set of challenges. And so I'll either break into like my favorite thing now when I go out, I love finding groups of girls and like a girls' night out, right? So I find a girls' night out, go up to them. I found a great approach to finding a group of girls. My approach to them is like I'll go up all like happy go lucky, give them a little wave and be like, "Hey girls, whose birthday is it?" And it's funny because like 50% of the time it is somebody's birthday. And they're like, "Oh my God, it's her birthday." And then I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And then even if it's not a birthday, it's a funny conversation. So I mean that's a little hack that I've got into because it is so rare nowadays to find a single girl out in New York City. It just like doesn't happen anymore. Super rare.
You've talked about using like lawns in front of schools, libraries, parks, museums, like use an approach in that sense, for like day game. Because you were mentioning earlier that you much prefer day game, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I want to meet a girl that I want to date, yeah, day game's the way to go because I mean, I like parks. Parks where if I'm in New York, I mean, Washington Square Park is amazing because it's kind of got the bohemian vibe. It's pretty social. Whenever I visit a new city, I usually Google like, a park near a university where there's just gonna be people hanging out. And that's where I run camera game. I don't like going out and doing day game, like specifically the reason for day game. I just think it's stupid to go out for hours just for the purpose to meet women. That's why I like camera game because I've got photography as like that's my main event. If I meet a chick that I like, cool. And I like meeting chicks in like grocery stores if I'm doing my shopping or whatever, or just out about town.
Hmm.
Those are the girls I want to date. If I'm out at night, I mean, it's a different story. Then I'm in more predator mode.
Somebody here said you said women are very superficial. Do you think social media like Instagram will kill the average looking guy? No, I mean we're not Brad Pitt sitting here talking to you guys right now. So like, so what? I mean, they've got beta orbiters slipping into their DMs all day long, liking their shit, commenting, "Oh, girl, you're so pretty." It's like what Goldman's talking about. You go and approach a girl that never gets approached in a grocery store, sitting on a lawn, reading a book in the sun, enjoying the outdoors. You're like the only thing on the radar screen.
Yeah.
That's it.
And like honestly, guys approaching at night is the percentage is going down. Well, in New York City, I can speak for New York City and a lot of the cities I've traveled to. So if you approach girls at night, you're still in like that top percent of guys because they don't usually get approached because you see it on social media. It looks like they're getting approached, but like liking a girl's Instagram post is not the same as going up and saying, "Hey, what's up? How's your night going?" at a bar.
Is it hey, what's up? Can I take your portrait? Or is it just hey, what's up?
Well, at night, it's "Hey, what's up?"
Yeah.
That's my night game, basically. Like, how's your night going? Hey, can we be friends? Like, just stupid bullshit like that. But yeah, with camera game, it's like, hey, I'm doing a photography project. Can you help me out for a minute? That's my approach.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you already plug your podcast that you do with Christian?
No, me and Christian McQueen, we do the Man in Demand radio podcast, where you can find that at manindemandradio.com.
Yep.
And yeah, we do the dual podcast, and it's always hilarious. The last one we did, we were shit faced drunk at like 7 o'clock in the morning.
I heard that one. I heard that one.
Yeah, that one was just ridiculous. But
yeah, I caught like 10, 15 minutes of that. That was pretty funny.
just us being clowns. But usually they're full of value and all that good stuff.
Oh, there's still value in the 10, 15 minutes that you listen to. It's a good talk. Flame 65 says, how do you gauge how physical you can get with a girl while on a date?
My number one rule for a date is that if you're going on the first date, you need to be sitting next to her at the bar. Do not sit across from her at a table. Like, that's so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's like you're doing an interview when you do that.
Yeah, it's the worst. It's the absolute worst. So when the first encounter on a first date, sit right next to her at the bar, and then as you're talking, like, if she says something interesting or funny or captivating, just like touch her like a normal human would. And if she's reacts well to that touch, then you can keep ramping it up. And just, I always say, escalate with the touch in the beginning and then do it verbally.
Do you do a lot of shit tests when you do that, by the way?
No, I mean, I've had so much experience with this. It's like, I used to get shit tests back in the day, but now I've got so much experience. Like, if I go in for a kiss, it's like pretty much 99% of the time I'm going to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And the touches are going to be well received just because I'm super calibrated. I mean, this is also thousands of dates of experience. So
yeah, you pick up on it. I mean, after a while, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about letting women approach you? I've had a lot of success with peacocking and women approach me instead. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I don't like to rely on it, but I like to peacock again with my hat, and I usually wear like big coats. I've got jewelry all over me. And if girls come up, I mean, I have lots of girls come up, especially I've got a huge shearling coat that I wear in the winter. I mean, it's got fur all over it. I always get tons of approaches in the winter. And I mean, it makes it easier for me. I think it's cool.
You've switched over from the Indiana Jones hat to like the cheese cutter style. Why did you do that?
Well, this is just my indoor podcast hat, man.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Somebody said here, curious, what are your thoughts on spending money on dates? For example, just spent $500 on 3 days of great dating within 3 separate days, all different girls. I covered 2 of the 3 nights costs.
I mean, $500 is a lot of money. I mean, on a first date, I hardly ever spend more than like $30.
Yeah, it seems like a hell of a lot of money, actually. I don't
know what are you doing for $500? Like, I don't even understand what the hell where are you going?
Yeah, Auto Pro, if you want to expand on that, I can, I'll look for it in the chat, but just type it in again. So what are you spending $500 on? It seems like a hell lot of money for 3 dates.
Maybe it's an expensive dinner or something, but which is a terrible idea for a first date. Is a dinner in general, because again, you just want to be sitting next to her at a bar.
What do you do for a first date if you do some camera day game and you're like, grab the number and let's get together? Like, what does your first date usually look like?
Well, I'm lucky because I live in a pretty interesting neighborhood in Brooklyn that's kind of out of the way, and it's pretty hip and people want to go see it. And I usually do my camera game in Manhattan, so I'm just like, hey, let's go out in my neighborhood, and then I take them to like a dive bar or speakeasy. There's a venue where there's people playing music, and they're all within like walking distance of my apartment. So that's it. I mean, a dive bar, speakeasy, little jazz joint. Yeah, like I said, on a date, I'd never spend more than like $30.
And then do you do like the venue change the same date or?
Oh yeah, I got to do the venue change. Yeah. Always. Venue change is super important if you want to get like a psychological connection.
Explain the venue change to guys that are watching this.
So the venue change. So if you're at the first venue and things are going well, I usually do it after the first or second drink and be like, oh, you want to go check out another spot? And then as you go to the other spot, again, you're touching her like, come here. Maybe if it's cold, put your arm around her. But it's the fact, I mean, Mystery was the first person to write about this, like in detail. It's like when you take somebody from one venue to another, it's like they've known you for a much longer time and they feel that deep connection with you. So it's like, even if you spent only an hour or 2 hours together, if you switch venues, every time you switch a venue, it's like creating a deeper connection in their mind. And I've seen this. I know it's true. It works very, very well.
Somebody said, what do you think of university campus game approach? Is that something that is that an area that you play in, or is that too young for you?
I did it. I really enjoy the city of Montreal, and at McGill University, they have a huge lawn, and I've had some success there in the past couple of years. But like in New York, I mean, I do most of my camera game around NYU. It's not an official part of the campus, but it's so close to it that most of the girls there are going to NYU. And like they're pretty responsive. If you're an interesting dude and you've got a good approach, they're pretty responsive. So I'm down with it.
Somebody said, how much time do you spend texting, talking between dates with girls? What's your rule on that?
I hate texting, so I only use it for logistics.
Yeah.
I literally only text like, you want to hang out on Wednesday? All right, 9 o'clock. Here's the bar. Let's go. We'll have fun.
Right.
Yeah, that's only logistics for me because I hate the waste of time.
Yeah, and it is a waste of time. Like that's what thirsty betas end up doing, is they end up doing that like idle chit chat in between the venue setup. And I don't think they realize that what they do is they like accidentally or inadvertently put themselves into like the friend zone sort of category, because they're too available, they're too needy, they're too cutesy and LOL and emoji icons and shit like that. Like, I've got my own men's private community, like you've got yours too. And sometimes guys will share their, their field reports, and they'll say, hey, here's all the conversations that happen. And it's like, you'll be going and be like, fuck, there's like 19 pages. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, just keep it simple. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I don't know what they're trying to do. Like I think it's kind of a validation thing for a lot of guys when they, it's like a validation, like, okay, she's responding to the text. Like, it's funny. Is she chasing me? Is she's not? That to me is a waste of time. Like,
well, I think what you're doing is you're entering the female frame, right? Because you're playing at their level. It's a whole blubbity blah, emoji icon, LOL, and all the cutesy stuff. But in the masculine frame, it's like free Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, meet me at this bar, wear something hot, sort of thing, right? Like,
yeah,
straightforward.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then, once we get together, like face to face, then I'll talk some bullshit and flirt with you. I ain't doing it over a screen.
That's how you develop attraction with women, is in person, face to face, with your character, with your charisma. You don't do it over some emoji icons, because she's already got 100 of those by like 10 o'clock in the morning and in all her social media platforms from all the orbiters, right?
Yeah. And plus, again, it's just a waste of goddamn time and mental energy. Like, texting, just keep it simple logistics. Unless you're like dating the chick, and then you can like send her a picture, like, how's your day gone? Then that's fine.
Here we go. We got somebody that joined in. Are you muted? Do you have a microphone?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
There we go.
Hey.
You've got a question for Goldman?
Yeah. Goldman, how much? I guess yeah.
Turn down the volume on YouTube so you can kind of do it that way, because you're probably getting feedback. You're hearing it in slow motion, sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Goldman, I was just wondering, how much percentage of the game is very tactic wise, like step by step, and how much of it is sort of I guess based on feelings and whatnot, if you understand what I'm saying.
Can you just clarify the question, because I'm not sure that I understand? Sorry.
Like, I guess like you do this at this time, you do that at that time. Your game is sort of like based on your feelings, like, I feel this, so I'm going to say this at this right now, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in my game, it is pretty much, it's like 99% freestyle. I mean, I have my certain openers that I'll use. Like at night, I'll say like, I like your style, or what's up, how's it going, like how's your night been, can we be friends? But I do like, what I have in my back pocket is certain stories of mine that I know will get girls really interested. Like I'll tell them about ayahuasca, I'll tell them about my travels, I'll tell them about my photography. Like that's the stuff I have in my back pocket that works, and I'll pull it out at the right moments. But as far as like tactics go, I mean, at this point, it's like it's pretty much, I mean, 99% is freestyle. But in the beginning, yeah, you have to have those like certain questions, because they give you your training wheels, like I like to say. But I mean, I'm, yeah, totally evolved past that point.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I have one last question, but to Richard. To
Yep.
I think yesterday I sent I joined your community, but I didn't get any sort of response. I was wondering if you do like periodically or whatnot. So I was just kind of waiting for the okay to get into the group.
I've probably got a bunch of people waiting to get in, but I don't let people in that don't have profile pictures. So if that's a problem for you, you'll get a message from me asking you to put a profile picture up.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
Okay, so if you have to do that, then take care of that first, because I want to make sure that there's some face-to-face interaction. I really don't like the sock puppet accounts in there.
Okay, that's fine. I'll put one up.
Cool. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Thanks. Got somebody here. I'm just going to let this guy go from the hangout. Got somebody here that was asking about tips for sober guys when it comes to dating. And just, I mean, if you want to stay away from drinking, my view is kind of do it more during the day. I mean, you can grab a coffee and go for a hike, sort of thing. Like that's one thing that you can do. Do you have any tips for sober dating?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, going through a walk in the park, or I love art galleries and art openings, because a lot of especially museums or art galleries, there's a lot of sexual exhibits. So if you go to say you find a museum and scout out the museum first, find out where there's like sexy exhibits. There's always art depicting sex. I mean, art and sex go hand in hand. And then make sure you take her there, and that's when you can escalate. Because it is pretty hard I mean, alcohol is definitely a lubricant, but I mean, I've done it before with girls who don't drink. I will deliberately take them to the section of the Met, which has like nudes and, depictions of sex acts. And then like, I'll just like, oh, isn't that hot? And, oh, what do you think about this? Doesn't that look like fun? Do you think do you think she's going to come? Stuff like that. I mean, I love, yeah, art galleries and museums are my number one sober date.
See, and guys make fun of that. They're like, sexual exhibits, LOL, are you serious? But you got to be creative, man. Like,
yeah.
Are you going to do the same thing that every other loser out there does, where it's like, hey baby, you want to get together for like dinner and a movie, and then you wonder why you end up in the friend zone and you never become intimate with women, while guys like Goldmund are picking up girls with cameras and closing the deal in the same night? I mean, come on.
I'll give you an example. All right, so it was last year. There was a girl who I met during Camera Game, and she's like, yeah, she was young, she didn't drink. So I took her to one of these exhibits here in Brooklyn, and we went to the exhibit, and there was literally a painting, like a big painting of a girl sitting on a guy's face, like totally naked, and she's coming all over his face. And like, we're looking at the picture, I'm like, oh my God, doesn't that look hot? Doesn't that look like fun? And literally 45 minutes later, we're in the same position in my bed.
There you go.
Yeah, it works. It fucking works.
Deal closed. I want to be respectful of your time, Goldman, because we only booked an hour for this, and we've closed on that. I want to thank everybody in the chats. Looks like we got a new member here in the community, so thanks for joining. Guys, if you're a man chasing excellence and you want access to a community of men doing the same, you're willing to do the work, you're not an asshole. By the way, the definition of an asshole, they get removed from my community. You keep asking questions, but you do nothing with the information. So consider that. There's always a link on my videos in the description and pinned at the top. Goldman, again, just remind everybody where they can find you, because we've got some new people that came in since you mentioned it earlier on in the video.
All right. Main blog, goldmundunleashed.com. I've got hundreds of free articles, but sign up to be a member to get the exclusive content. My podcast, my best photographs, video, stuff like that. Twitter, Goldmund Unleash. Instagram, Goldmund Unleashed. YouTube, Goldmund Unleashed. There you go.
And yes, I'll be on Red Man Group this Saturday. I'm on every other Saturday because of my custody arrangement with my daughter. So I'll be on this Saturday. So when you don't see me on a Saturday, that's why. Follow us on Twitter, the panelists of Red Man Group, if you want to find out what the event is and how to set the reminder for it, because we always announce the event, what the topic is, and potentially anybody that might be in it if there's special guests. But also follow the YouTube channel there. So there's Red Man Group as its own standalone YouTube channel. And in case you missed it, on Monday, I'm now doing a show with Dr. Smith called Before the Train Wreck, where we're trying to help guys vet situations before they destroy their lives. We're skipping this Monday, but the Monday after, we're going to resume. So make sure, if you're not subscribed to the channel, you hit the subscription button and the notification bell, because apparently subscription don't need that much on YouTube these days. So if you want to get notified of new events, do that. Thanks for checking out today's broadcast, guys. We'll catch up with you later. Peace out.